The color panel is one of the most important tools you could use in Adobe Lightroom. If you're not using it or you're afraid to use it, start experimenting. We're going to talk about the color panel in Adobe Lightroom and how you could use it to make your photos really stand out. Now in this video, I'm going to show you exactly what each of these sliders do, and I'm also going to show you how to use these sliders and use these different color changes in an actual photograph. So let's start with the basics. This is a color wheel. Color wheel has all of the visible colors kind of broken down into simple terms here. You have red, you have green, you have blue, violet, and everything really in between, okay? So if you adjust anything in this color panel, it's going to have an effect on all these colors. So what I want you to do first is I want you to pay attention to the blue. So looking at the blue, I'm going to move the temperature slider further up, more towards warm. Warm meaning it's going to be more orange. So let's start moving that slider up and look at the blue. The blue is now getting a lot more gray and a lot more hot. It's almost moving towards green. It's getting a little more washed out because the complete opposite of blue is orange. So as we add more orange or more warmth, we're seeing less and less blue. Alternatively, I want you to look at the orange all the way up here. Now I'm going to move the slider all the way down. Temperature's going to go all the way down. And you see the orange is now getting washed out because we moved the temperature all the way down to the bottom, which is more towards blue. Adjusting your temperature affects every color inside of your image. And the reason you want to adjust temperature in the first place is because you want to white balance your photo so you have a proper white in your background, or you could just make your photo a little warmer, a little cooler, depending on what you're going for and what kind of look. We'll go over that a little bit later when we actually open up some real examples of photographs. Same thing with tint. Tint affects every color on the color spectrum. If you move it up more towards purple, things are going to turn more purple. You move it down towards green, things are going to turn more green. Again, show you a little bit more of that example later. Vibrance and saturation. A lot of people think these are the same thing, but they are not. Vibrance, if you increase it, increases the intensity of certain colors and the midtones between those colors, but it's never going to oversaturate a color, or you're never going to lose a certain color. So I just turned this all the way up, and you could still distinctly tell which color is which as you look around the inside of this color wheel. Some colors are very similar, but there's still a distinct line in between them. If you turn it down all the way, there's still color. Vibrance will never take away all of the color out of your image, but it will mute it quite a bit. Let's set that back to 0. Saturation's a little different. Saturation affects all of the color, not just the primary color. So if you increase your saturation all the way up, now you can see in certain colors, especially here in the reds, some of these colors are almost blending together, especially in the orange as well. The Gold Rush and Nectarine are almost identical, when as opposed to if you turn them up in the vibrance, they are distinctly different. Now if you take saturation all the way down to 0, all of these colors are going to be completely grayscaled. So if you want to get something black and white or close to black and white, you'll move your saturation all the way down. Vibrance will never give you this effect. Let's put that back to 0 again. Your color mixer will only affect a certain spectrum of color. You could select up to 8 different spectrums of color in your color mixer: red, orange, yellow, green, cyan, blue, violet, and magenta. Alright, so each one that you select will only be affecting that certain range of color. And inside each of these 8 different color options, you could change 3 options: the hue, the saturation, and the luminance. Hue itself is defined as the wavelength of the visible light. By adjusting the hue of the red and bringing it more towards purple, we are now making the wavelength shorter, making the colors look more purple, but it's only affecting anything that has red in it. Anything in orange or blue violet or even a little bit of violet is not being touched by us affecting that hue. So let's bring that back. Saturation works the same way as saturation works in the upper panel. And luminance is basically the brightness of the color. But luminance will never bring your colors down to absolute black and will never bring them up to absolute white. In the basic terms, luminance will make a certain color brighter or darker, but it will never make it pure black and it will never make it pure white. It isn't like adjusting exposure, and it is not like adjusting brightness. So if you bring the luminance all the way down, the colors in the reds get a lot darker, but they never approach pure black. If you bring them up, the colors get a lot lighter, but they're not going to be pure white. Even over here, where it looks like it's almost pure white, there is a difference between the actual white background and that color ballerina right there, which is a red-violet tone. I didn't name it, but there it is. Same thing if you go over to the green and bring that down more towards yellow, it turns all the greens more yellow. That's by dropping it to -100. If you bring it all the way up, it's going to make all your greens look a lot more cyan. And again, it's only affecting things that have the tone green in them. It's not going to affect the blue, it's not going to affect the orange, it's more going to affect the yellow, yellow-green, green, and blue-green, because they all have a little bit of green tone in them. So let's move on. That's the basics of the color mixer. So the color grading, you can change the shadows, midtones, and highlights And within these three color wheels, you could change the individual hue, saturation, and luminance of these different tones. So in order to do this, I'm going to open up a new image here. This is just a black to white gradient. Up here on the right side, the very last pixel is pure white. The very last pixel on the left side here is pure black. So let's go ahead and adjust the shadows, and I'll show you what I mean by how they work. Let's say we want these shadows to look blue. So we bring them down to hue, 230, that's blue right there on your wheel. You see that everything on the left side here, which is considered a shadow, everything prior to about 33% of the image, that is going to turn blue, but you're not going to lose that pure black. Now the luminance, you could adjust that to make it brighter or make it darker. Either way, it works the same as the luminance up here in the color mixer. Blending we'll get into in a second, and balance we'll get into in a second. Now, let's say we want the midtones turn more orange. So now the midtones are orange. That's going to be covering from 33% to 66% of the image. You can adjust three separate color grading wheels here, so they're going to cover three separate parts of the image: the shadows, the midtones, and the highlights. So let's make the highlights, just for contrast, a shade of purple. Now we have three separate shades here: blue, orange, and purple. Okay, so what do we do now with the rest of this image? So now there's blending. If you move the blending slider up, it's going to eliminate that center midtone color right there, which we had as orange. The further you move it up, the less orange you're going to see, and the colors are going to blend between purple and between blue now. If you move the blending down, you're going to see much more orange being labeled through, and a lot less blue and a lot less purple. Balance is going to move between the highlights and the shadows, but you're never actually going to lose your midtone. So you move to the right, you're going to get a lot of purple and a little bit of the midtone. Move to the left, you're going to get a lot of your shadow and a little bit of your midtone. So that's the basics of how the color grading works. Let's move on to an actual image here so you have a better understanding. Okay, here's a photograph I took of a couple of deer. It is absolutely adorable, but let's go ahead and adjust some of the colors. The main colors we're looking at here are going to be shades of orange, as you can see in the trees, in the fur, in the background, and a lot of white from the snow. So we don't have a lot of other tones to work with, but we could still work with the tones that we have. So right now, the image looks properly white balanced, but let's just make sure. If I bring this down, right now it's at white balance 5150. Let's go ahead and bring that down to around 4800. You can see the image looks a lot cooler now. Now that may not be what you're looking to go for, but that is how you would cool off this image a little bit. Double click and let's reset it. Now it's back to its original white balancing. Let's go ahead and bring that up to about 5400. Now the image is looking a lot more warmer. Now if you don't really know what actual white is, find something white in the picture to work with. So I'm going to assume that this deer's fur is completely white. It looks pretty white, so I'm going to click this eyedropper tool right here, bring it onto the screen, find a white portion, and click it. And it turns out pure white, as for automatic white balancing, is at 5000, which is right between where we were. It's not as warm as it came straight out of the camera, but it still looks pretty good. Alright, so two options if I wanted to make this have a little more color to it. I could bring the saturation up, but that's going to affect all of the colors in the image, make it look a little over-saturated, a little too much color. If I bring the vibrance up to just about plus 20, I get just enough color between from where I want it to be. So this would be the before picture, before I did anything to it with the color. This is the after, just a little extra bit of color in there. Now, say I thought I didn't want this fur to be so orange. Maybe I wanted it to be a little more yellow. I would increase the hue a little bit, and now the fur just looks a little more yellow, as do a lot of the trees. But if I wanted to move that back down towards red, I could. And now it's only going to affect those tones, not the little bit of green we have here, and not all the yellow either. Same goes if I want to just hit the yellows, because there's plenty of yellow in this photo too. I could turn them and make them a little more green, or bring the hue down and make them a little more orange. So now the hue of the yellow actually is starting to match the fur a little bit more, and now you have a little more cohesive color palette. The yellow actually looks a little bright in some of this, so I could bring the luminance down almost all the way, just to have that little extra contrast between the background and between some parts of the fur on the deer themselves. I do the same thing with the orange where I bring the luminance down, and that little extra bit of contrast. Let's go to the color grading. That is probably the best thing we could do for this photo, is just color grade it, because the contrast looks good, the white balance looks good. It doesn't need a lot of color adjustment in and of itself, but color grading can really make this photo shine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set my hue to a nice shade of green. Let's say about 120. That's a good shade of green. I'll bring the saturation up to about maybe 15. So now my shadows have a little bit of green in them. Problem is, the rest of this fur has a lot of shadows in it, so I got to balance that out a little bit. What I'm going to do is take the midtones, I'm going to make them a shade of orange. Let's say to 30 on the hue. Bring that saturation up also about 15. The highlights, I'm going to leave them as they are because our highlights are mostly going to be in the white range, and with the snow, we don't want to change them. Now the problem here is that green is looking a little too bright and it's really throwing off the contrast. So what can we do? Go back to your shadows, take that luminance, and start bringing it down just a little bit. Bring it out to about -40, -45 even. Now when you do that, you're bringing that green closer and closer to black, but never actually all the way to black. So you're creating more and more contrast between the image. So we went from this without the color grading, which is a good image in and of itself, but if you wanted to be a little more creative, you can go ahead and throw color grading on, and now you have something a little more unique. Now you don't have to use green. A lot of people like to use something like teal or blue, which would be hue about 200, and they use that with a shade of orange. That way you have a warmer image with not a lot of contrast, and now you have a lot more contrast between two different colors because blue and orange are contrasting colors. So let's do this on one more image. This is another photo of a deer I took. A little bit underexposed, but that's okay. Let's go ahead and work with it. This one we're going to do a little more unique. There's a lot of foliage on the ground, a lot of dead leaves, and I want to change their tone. Now, I want to make the orange leaves move a lot more towards red. I want them to be a nice, deep fall red. So let's move the hue. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, let's move the hue to about -60. Problem is now the fur is starting to be affected. Alright, no big deal. We'll take the yellow and we'll also move that towards about -60. That's going to be the orange. And the orange, we could also brighten that up in the luminance, make it a little brighter. +20. Now the problem with this is it makes the leaves look red, a little more of a deep red tone, but it's making the fur just not look right. So why don't we bring up our midtones and color grading, because all of these look like midtones, not a lot of highlight and shadow going on. Let's bring up the midtones and make them a little more orange, and we can make our shadows a little bit more blue. More towards teal, actually. Now that's like a pure teal at 180, and our orange is about hue 30. Now I could bring this up a little more towards green on the shadows, because I just want to have a little more contrast between the fur up here, because that looks a little too much contrast in the fur if you bring it to blue. But if you bring that more towards green, it balances out the background. Now you have something like this. But see, these two panels work side by side because if I turn off the color changes I made to the orange and the yellow, everything's going to look a little washed out. And if I turn off the color grading, everything's going to look a little too purple, a little too red. So if I turn them both on, and even if I start lowering the luminance for more contrast in the green, now we have an image that's starting to come together as a much more heavier contrast. And it looks more like a moody shot. So these were just some examples of things you could do with only the color panel. Obviously you want to be using your light panel, you want to be using your details panel and your effects panel to really make your image come together completely. You also want to be making small changes to your highlights and small changes with your adjustment brush to make sure that you're making your subject stand out. So right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this image and we're going to do a little time lapse of the original image. I'm going to go ahead and do a quick edit of this particular image here and change it from this original copy to something a little bit better using all the tools in Lightroom, especially the color grading. So let's go. Okay, so this is what I came up with after doing a couple of minutes of edits, using the light panel, the color, the effects, and the detail, and also doing a quick little crop. So I want to show you what the original was. This was the original image. It's also still cropped, but here's what we came up with. But the big part of this, the thing that makes this image really come together, is the color. So let's go ahead and get rid of the color changes I did. There's not much of a difference here. It's a little bit of contrast and clarity, sure, but what really made this image come together was that color panel. The color panel is one of the most important tools you could use in Adobe Lightroom. If you're not using it or you're afraid to use it, start experimenting. You'll be amazed at what you can come up with. If you want to see more of my wildlife photography, check out my Instagram. It's at dom.iwc. I'll have a link down in the description, and I really appreciate you checking out this video. I really hope it helped you guys out. If you have any questions about any of the edits that I did in the little time lapse there, leave a comment below. I'll explain anything you want, and maybe I'll make another video about some of the stuff I did to make this image transform a little bit. Other than that, hope you guys have a good one. Thanks for watching.